What is this? What is this? What's my trash can? It's my little kitchen trash can. The reason I have that is because the spring-loaded thing, right? So it's got this thing you push, and the lid's supposed to go thonk like that, and you push it back, you know. Anyway, that was kind of a hassle, you know, because you always had to touch it, you know, and stuff like that. I didn't like that. So anyway, if one day the thing broke, clank, you know, thonk, you know, it broke. I said, well, that kind of sucks. So, but I didn't want to get a new trash can just because the thing broke. So I would put like a can of corn or something on top of it, you know, not a can of corn. Although one time, I was living in this other state in Indiana in 1960, summer of 69, I think it was. And we'd gone up there. These, you know, they invited me to go with them to the Indy 500, and I didn't go because I went to this other place first. And then after that, I said, "Screw it, man! I'm going to go up there to Indiana to be with those guys." And so I got on the bus to go up there, and I fell asleep on the bus, and somebody stole my wallet. I didn't have any money at all, you know. So anyway, when I got there, I had no money. But I was in St. Louis. I couldn't even go up in the arch because I had no money. And there was this guy, it was a black guy, I always regretted this too. I told him, I said, you know, I was on the bus and I got pickpocketed because I was hungry, I needed something to eat, you know. And I was on the bus and I got pickpocketed. And the guy, you know, was a young guy, you know, and he obviously, you know, I'm sure that he had heard plenty of stories from people, you know. And the guy gave me like $4, $3 or $4, and I went, and then I told him I'd pay him back, and I never paid him back. I lost his number and all this stuff. I mean, my God, it was like, phew, it was terrible. It was terrible. Anyway, he said there's a restaurant over there, so I went over there, and they have the A rating right on the door. This was a C rating. This place had a C rating. It wasn't even a B. It was a C. I went in there, got something to eat, and then the bus was about ready to leave, so I got on the bus and continued my trip. And so the reason I got into that story is because I said I had a can of corn on there, which I didn't. I had a can of something else, some coffee or something. So I remember that that summer, me and this guy, these two other guys, we got this. What it was a storefront in this town in Indiana, Gas City, Indiana. And it was a storefront, so we're in there sleeping, you know, the freaking door open, people walking by, we're sleeping, you know, because we rented it as a place to live, you know. So anyway, we would rotate making food, right? So this one guy, he was addicted to Cokes. This son of a gun, he was a nut and a half, man. He ripped off like cases of Cokes and all kinds of crap. He was addicted. He would go, this is when the Coke machines had a Coke in the machine. He would put the money and pull it out. And he would go with a bottle opener and pop the tops and get half a Coke in a freaking cup. This guy was an absolute nut. Matter of fact, his father went to my other friend's father, who was there, and told him that he didn't want his son hanging around with his son because he was leading him astray. And the guy who was a Coke thief, you know, ended up being he was a total disaster. The other guy ended up being a lawyer, and then actually ended up being the head of AP for State in the Union, and now he heads a big newspaper, you know. So anyway, it was the Coke guy. It was his turn to make dinner. So what did he make for the three of us? A 2-pound can of corn. Oh, that was funny, man. That was really funny. Oh, that was funny. That was good. That was interesting times. That really was. It was funny that the guy who later became the lawyer guy, he had a girlfriend who was in the Catholic choir, and my girlfriend was the Methodist minister's daughter right there in that little town. It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. That was fun, and that was an interesting time too because that's when the Vietnam War was going on, and then we had this other place. We were living up on the second floor of this place, and we had a peace symbol in the window, and we were down one day, and this guy started hassling with the peace symbol and all that, and he was in the military, and so he picked a fight. So I had this fucker down in the street, man. I was kicking the shit out of him, and then his friend hit me in the head with a bottle. It was a 7-Up bottle, and this isn't some little tiny freak. This is old school. I mean, this fucking thing, I'm telling you, the thing was that thick. The bottle was that big. It was a 7-Up bottle. Luckily, he hit me with the drinking end, the narrow end, bam, right in my head, man. Fucker, and then that's sort of the end of the whole thing, and then they came back later, oh, sorry about the fucking hit you with the fucking bottle and shit like that, So, but no cops were called or anything like that. I cut my head, I got all the glass out and everything, Oh, it was wild. Also, that was when, why don't we do it in the road? That's the Beatles song, Actually, I said, okay, I actually did it with this girl. I don't even know who she was, man. In the road outside in the Indiana countryside, man. It was wild. That was a good time. That was really interesting. That was a really interesting time. But anyway, to get back to the can of corn on the trash can, which is very boring at this stage of the game, I would put this can on the lid, so when the lid was like a boink, 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 so it put a can, a coffee can or something on there. And so what I did was I put that thing on. After a while, I got tired of doing that. So I came over and put this thing, because a can would be down here. I had to pick it up and then put the can somewhere. So this right here, I put that there, and then I just go like that. Just lift it up like that. See, it's easy. Look at this. Watch this. So that's why that happens, and that's an interesting thing about kind of the videos. I mean, I find it interesting. I mean, I find my own self very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, let me get my glasses. I find myself incredibly interesting at times. It's very fascinating. I mean, I love the way my brain works. It's a fascinating brain, just a fascinating brain. Oh, that is so nutty. But the reason I wanted to make a video and not to laugh about anything is this freaking meltdown in Japan. Man, I hope and pray those people are going to be okay. That is really a disaster. I mean, that's the biggest natural disaster I think that I've ever just ever happened in my lifetime. It's just, I mean, some of those other things down in Indonesia and places like that, I don't know what the devastation of it was down there, because you don't have the videos to look at it or anything. I mean, lots of people died down there. It was a totally different kind of a thing. Not totally different. I mean, it's the same thing. It was a tsunami, but when a tsunami goes through a village of huts, lots of people die and stuff. But if a tsunami goes through a place and a freaking nuclear power plant shuts down and is in the process of, hopefully not the process, hopefully it doesn't happen, but of total freaking meltdown, it's a totally different thing. I mean, this is really bad. So I hopefully pray that this thing works out good. But I wanted to talk about, I'm sort of it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Oh yeah, if I would have been in charge of that would have never happened. Blah blah blah. But it's really kind of an interesting thing when you think about something like this. When the Japanese or in the United States too, there's a freaking power. We have at least one power plant. I think it's a nuclear power plant over by L.A. It's right there on the freaking beach. And I guess the reason they put them by the beach is so they have plenty of water. Okay, but there's a power plant in freaking the deserts of Phoenix, and I have a photograph. So I don't know where it is now. It's probably lost forever. But when they were building that, I was on that road, and there was a semi truck. You know, you know what a semi truck looks like. You know, a little semi truck, like it was looking at it from the distance. A little semi truck going along, and it had a trailer right going along like that, and the freaking the pipe on it was that big. I mean, it dwarfed the whole thing. It took up the whole bed of the truck. I mean, it was huge to bring water to that power plant. So, I mean, it's not impossible to figure out how to bring water to a power plant. But in the case of the Japanese, why didn't they put the power plant on the other side of the freaking island? Why did they have to put it on the side of the island where they've had earthquakes and tsunamis there since they've been there? I mean, it's not a new thing. This is an earthquake tsunami thing is not really new for them. Now, an earthquake tsunami thing, I don't know. We've never had one here that I know of. Now, plenty of earthquakes. I've been in earthquakes. I mean, I was in the Northridge earthquake in L.A., and that was scary. It actually wasn't scary. I wasn't afraid because I knew the building that I was in. Because the building I was in was an old Victorian house. And that building, I mean, it was shaking. I mean, my chest of drawers fell over. I mean, there was stuff falling over and everything else. And the building, you know, those, like, if you're in a brick building, man, it is going to be not good. But I was in an old Victorian house. It was made out of wood, you know. And, you know, the wood is nailed together. And you could hear the wood, and you could hear it cracking. You could hear the wood, like, breaking. Pow! I mean, it was rocking and rolling, that house. And, but I thought, well, it's not going to freaking collapse because, I mean, it's a wooden house. It's not going to just collapse. And it didn't, you know. But why didn't they build that power plant on the other side of the island away from the tsunami? I mean, I'm not saying, you know, I'm sure they had their reasons. Oh, we'll put up a bunch of big sandbags or something that'll protect us. But if they would have put it on the other side of the island, they wouldn't be dealing with this right now, you know. And that's not to Monday morning quarterback the whole thing, you know. But these kind of things, you know, a freaking complete meltdown of a reactor. And it's all protected. We got backup systems and everything. We got generators to back it up. Don't worry about. Well, when a freaking tsunami comes, everything gets wiped out, including the backup system. So, you know, I'm sure that this is going to be a big lesson for the world. If you're going to build a freaking nuclear power plant, you know, at least put it up on some cinder blocks or something so it doesn't get freaking washed away in a tsunami.